Hey, welcome everyone. Hey, I just want to say before we get started, I just want to say thank you to Emergo Academy. They are our sponsors for this episode. One thing about Emergo Academy is they are actually passionate about teaching and mentoring coaches as well as individuals to break away from outdated methods and create real lasting change. Their sweet spot, and this is something that I really love about them, it's the brain first approach. It's rooted in science, proven to work, and designed to spark breakthroughs. Their mission is simple but powerful. Helping others transforms lives. As a matter of fact, even transforming their own lives, build legacies, and make every single day count. This is the kind of partnership that fires Dave and Kenny Susan up, man. They get really fired up when they are sitting down and talking with people because they're not just changing minds, they're changing futures. And I have personally taken their course, and it is an amazing course, and it has definitely changed the way I look at life, and has just really, really helped me also understand how the brain works and how I can help others in their recovery. So again, we just want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to Emergo Academy. Check them out at emergoacademy.com. All right. So today, guys, we got a great show for you today. We got a really, really great guest, my beautiful friend Michelle Peacock, and we're going to be talking about seeking light in my own darkness. Now, Michelle, thank you for taking time to be on the show. You and I only met like 3 or 4 months ago. It's crazy, but it seems like we've known each other for longer than that.
Oh yeah.
And we've sat down and we've had some pretty good serious talks. And I really appreciate you saying, hey, yes, I'd love to be on your show when I asked, and grateful to have you here. And we'll talk a little bit about your organization that you started also a while ago. But what did you mean by seeking light in your own darkness?
In my life, I've had a lot of light, but hold on. I've also had a lot of darkness, and all of our darkness is different. You know, I had a lot of things happen to me in my life. I was held in an apartment for 4 days. I was just drugged, and I was sexually abused when I was younger, very young. Um, and I never knew. I was raised with love, so don't get me wrong with that, because I was raised in a really great home. But the more I got into my addiction and around the people that I was with, I never really knew what my light was, really. And so searching for my light has been my whole life. I'm 50 years old and I haven't found my light until now. But everything that I've gone through in my life has got me here. And so I've been searching for that, and to have that light and be able to share that with everybody in the community, and to be okay with my gift that I have and not be afraid of it or feel like I have the devil in me. It's helped me realize what my light is, because we all have our own different light. Our journeys are all different. You know what I mean? Like, the things that I do may work for me, and I can show that for somebody else. And while I'm showing them that, they can find their light by something else that may work better for them. Um, Having the hurt and not knowing who I am has been my darkness in my life. Not really believing who I am, believing that I was broken. And now knowing that I'm not broken and I haven't been broken. Um, I don't know if I hope that makes sense to people out there. I'm sure it does, because a lot of people are probably going through what I did, not knowing who I was my whole life, not believing who I was, knowing that I cared about people, but yeah, I treated them wrong. There's a lot of darkness that you have in your life. And I still have darkness in my life. Right now, since February, I've moved 5 times, and in the middle of that, I was homeless, and I luckily had some friends that helped me and let me stay at their house till I found another spot to lay my head, and not showing that to everybody, showing that darkness that I was going through. I still was positive through all that, and to have people tell me, how are you so positive going through this, is really amazing for me to hear from people, because I used to be a really negative person.
Yeah.
I never really knew what being positive felt like, really. I don't know if that makes any sense, but until now, and that's what I do. Being positive is my life. And it's not that I'm perfect, by all means. I mean, all day long, I have negative thoughts go through that I have to switch my thoughts. And that's part of the way I stay out of my darkness, is by navigating through the negative thoughts and the negative situations I go through in my life and seeing the positive in everything. Everybody and everything has a negative and the positive side. And
Yeah.
so if you focus just on the negative stuff, of course, that's what you're going to feel inside, and that's all you're going to see, you know. And so now that I can start focusing more on everyone's positive sides, there's people that I don't care to be around, people I don't care to talk to, but they don't know that. You don't have to let everybody know that you're going through a bad situation or that you don't like them, or you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
It's like people want to know who you are, and you want to teach people or help them figure out who they are inside also. So I don't know. I hope that answers your question.
No, it does, and you said a couple things, especially at the beginning, as everybody's journey is their own journey,
Mhm.
and gosh, we talked about this in a meeting yesterday. It's that, you know, I was taught back in January 2023, I used to tell my wife's story, right? And I was told that's her story to tell. Tell your own damn story. That taught me a very valuable lesson. And I look at it the same way with people's recovery. Their recovery is their way of recovering. I may not agree with it, but it doesn't matter if I agree with it, because if it agrees with them, that's what it's about, right? And
Yes,
and again, that's what even our Healing Utah Success Summit's about. It's about having that support and letting people feel that they're comfortable, no matter what that their journey is, because who are we to say? And then also, seeking that light. I love that part because it reminds me of a post I did on social media about a little over a month ago about those two tree trunks that had worked its way through these slabs of concrete. At one time, those slabs were on top of each other, but somehow those trunks found that way through a little crack of light to where now the trunk is so big, it's actually lifted the concrete. So it's lifted the weight and it's holding the weight because there's no way that slab of concrete can outdo that trunk on that
no,
tree that's this big around, you know.
no,
And so to have that hope and to have that glimmer, right? It may
yes,
look dark, and that's where our negative thoughts come in. But really, if we close our eyes and just really focus, we
Mhm.
can see a little teeny bit of light. And what's cool is that light ends up becoming like our breakthrough. However, we would have never gotten to that point if it wasn't for the darkness.
Exactly. Because we have to go through the darkness to even know what the light is, right?
Yeah.
Like like I said, I didn't really realize I was in darkness until now. Here I am in the light, and now I realize my darkness when it comes. But growing up and in my life, I never knew it until now because I see more light in my life, and I see more light coming out of myself. And to be able to see the volunteers that I work with now, I'm continuing out of their treatment centers, wanting to follow and continue being around me and continue wanting to volunteer and be a part of the community. It's so awesome to see them just find their own light and to see that light from when I very first saw them come into treatment to getting out into sober living. It's so awesome to see that light in them.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. I'm so proud of all of them.
Well, and I think what a lot of people on the outside don't realize is how long these journeys are for many of us, right? I mean, your addiction started at age 11, if I remember right.
Yes.
And that's a long time to be going, right? And I've had people on the show who battled it for 20 years, 30 years, some even just a short period of time.
Yeah.
And that journey brings so much darkness. And I mean, it almost seems like the devil's got a hold of us, which he pretty much
Yes.
does, right? His,
Yeah.
his claws are in us pretty heavy.
Yeah.
However, being in part of the community, like you mentioned a little bit ago, right? And
Mhm.
sitting down with other individuals and again, showing that there is hope and there is recovery. And their journey is their journey, you
No
know.
matter where they're at on their journey too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like I wasn't perfect when I started the nonprofit, and I just decided, I'm like, you know what? If I just sit here, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to just stay here. I need to just go do something. So I hated volunteering. I'm not going to lie. Like volunteering, helping anybody else was not part of me at all. You know, and that's who I am now.
Mm.
Everywhere, that's all I do is try and find things I can do to help people feel better about themselves and about the situations they're in. And it's just meeting them where they're at, letting them be who they are right now, today, when I'm with them. That's all I care about. I don't care what they're doing. They can work on that with their therapist and all that, but just let them know that they're loved and they're lovable, regardless of where they're at on their journey. You know, and eventually they're going to get to where they're supposed to be on their journey on the end to help other people find their way on their journey. You know, it's just like that tree we were talking about, you know, that found that light and it's growing, and now here it's growing and it's going to get more, and it just grows everywhere. And I just have to say that I noticed something. You know me, when spirits come in, I got to say it, okay?
Mm.
So your wife notices that you're just saying her your wife, not your ex-wife anymore.
Well, that's what she asked, right? The first time I did that.
Yeah,
Yeah. And see,
I
and
was
I
going,
still honor that, right? Because I still care about her.
yes,
Even though she's gone, our love for each other was never, that wasn't the issue. It was the addiction that was the issue.
very much. And so that just want to let you know that that was noticed. It was funny, but it's hard for me to concentrate when I have a lot of that going on. So I had to let it out. So I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
But yeah, so finding my light where I am, it really started. I've been through drug court. I've been through being held in that apartment, but really finding out who I am started when I was talking with Todd Sylvester at Wasatch Recovery. That's when I started that light of knowing that I'm not broken. You know, I like to tell people now, you're not a bike. You know, we don't need to be fixed. We're not a bicycle. We just need to figure out where our path is. And I've done that. And it's just like being able to have that light and know I wake up every day with that light in my mind and in my heart is awesome compared to what I was growing up with every day. Not knowing what my purpose was, because it's like I didn't feel like I fit in a lot with people. And that's my first time saying that out loud. And so it's really hard to say that out loud. But growing up, even though I was popular, I had a lot of friends, I didn't feel like I fit in because nobody knew what I was really feeling inside, knew that I was dealing with a gift that I had. Back then, I didn't consider it a gift. It was, I felt like I was crazy. Something was wrong with me. And I still do, actually, still to this day. I still have to ask my therapist, am I crazy? And he goes down the criteria and says, no, you're not. But to feel like I can just be myself in the community now and people love you regardless of whatever I'm going through, they are there to support. And to be able to be compared to people like you and Todd Sylvester and Tiffany, and it's really cool. It's really cool to be able to know that I help people as much as you guys do. And I'm a really self-centered person. I'm just going to say that right now. And I'm trying to learn not to be, even though I care about people and I help to be, I'm going to be honest, I'm self-centered, and I'm working on not being that. And I think being honest is one of the biggest things to find in your life. You know, if you're not honest about everything that's going on inside you, you're not going to find your light. You're not going to be able to figure out where you want to go next on your journey and to follow your own instincts, which is your spirits around you. That's what I believe. And to know that even if I don't have acceptance around the people that I'm with, as long as I'm loving them, that's all that really matters to me right now. Like, I don't care if people accept what I believe because it's what I believe. I'm not forcing what I believe on them. But
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense to you.
No, it makes a lot of sense, and um, it's crazy that we are having this conversation, Michelle. Really, it really is, and the reason why is because again, was on a team meeting last night, and some things came up, you
Yeah.
know, and it was all about someone on the team who has drank wine, had a
Yeah.
glass of wine here and there, and now we have people that don't want to be a part of the Huss because of
Oh,
that.
geez. Yeah.
It's like when we got off the call, some of us kind of stayed on, and one of the other people on the call just broke down and started bawling. And they're
Oh,
like, "What the hell just happened? Why
yeah.
are we not here supporting one another instead of pointing our fingers at one another, right?"
Yeah.
And just because, I mean, there's things with AA that I don't agree with,
Yeah.
just do not agree with.
Yeah.
However, they have saved countless lives.
Mhm.
There's people like Tosa and Red Barn or John Vulcan now who
Yeah.
have their way of doing things, right? They have saved thousands of lives. There
Yeah.
are other recovery community like Wasatch Recovery, right? Where Todd works, and they have saved. And there's different ways, Now you've got Cali Sober. I'd like to throw in Cali Sober. I just interviewed Quinn not too long ago. They do things totally opposite of what a lot of the other recoveries do. Now
Yeah.
they're starting to save lives, right?
Yeah.
So it's like things are starting to change a little bit in the recovery community.
Yes.
However, we are also shaming
Yeah.
our own people in the recovery community because of how we see things, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, somebody that quit um oxycodone and now turns to alcohol, if
Yeah.
they're using the alcohol the same way they abuse the oxycodone,
Yeah.
they're still in their active addiction,
Yeah.
right? And what is really the definition of sober? And somebody looked it up on our call after our call last night and pulled it up, and I don't remember what it said, but I'm like, well, that is really interesting.
Yeah.
Is it, I'm going to have to look it up again, what the definition of sober
Yeah.
is. So, again, is I'm not here to get you to believe how I see things.
Exactly.
Because again, as I was told, that's not my story to tell,
Nope.
right? To
Yeah.
stay on my side of the street. That is something, a few things that the recovery community has taught me. And I have grabbed a hold of that because I'm like, that is so right, right?
Definitely.
It's stay on my side of the street
Yep.
because I don't know if it's working for them, whether I agree with it or not.
Nope.
It's their journey.
Yeah, and it's not you to tell them what their journey is. You can't tell them what their journey is. I ask people, I say, what ignites your light? Like, I can't tell you what ignites your light. Only you can. What is that?
Yeah.
Figure out what ignites that light for you because I can't tell you. I can tell you what ignites my light and what did ignite my light. But I definitely, it's not up to us to tell people what ignites their light and where we're going to tell them, well, you went from oxycodone, now you're drinking, that's a problem. That's up to them to decide if it's a problem.
Yeah, that's their call. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Now, as long as they're open, right? Because
Yeah.
that was brought up yesterday. It's like, well, is it open or is it being hidden behind the curtains?
Yeah.
And the individual talked freely of it. I mean, like,
Yeah.
yes, this is
That's
what I
awesome.
do, and this is how often I do it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like there's nothing hidden, and it's all about transparency, at which I get that, right?
Yeah.
Because yeah, I mean, I get that point of it
Oh, yeah.
for sure. And again, it's you talked about even in your bio, believing in the human spirit,
Yeah.
and I think we need to do a little bit more of that, and we need to have a little bit more of that love, right? Instead of that pointing the fingers going, well, you're doing it wrong. Well,
Mhm.
am I?
Yeah. Who are
Oh,
we to say what's wrong? Or who are you to
yeah,
say that
yeah,
what's wrong and right, really,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I used to be a big hunter, and
You did?
um, you know how to skin a deer, but there's other people that skin a deer differently,
Yeah.
right? But they still get it done. It still
Yeah.
works. The deer still
Oh,
gets skinned, and some people tie their shoes differently. However, their shoe still gets tied, right?
exactly. We do it's just like the GPS unit, like we all can put the same address in, but we may all try and go our own ways. We don't listen to the GPS
Yeah,
because you know what, we know better, of
yeah,
course, but we always end up in the same place, but we all sometimes go our own ways. And so to me, that's kind of the metaphor I like to use is the GPS unit because sometimes we go our own way and it's not the right way because we're not listening. But you know what? We always end up where we're supposed to be.
yeah. We'll
And
get there eventually, right?
eventually,
Even though we may have made a few wrong turns.
yes. I was talking to my daughter that we went on that trip. In fact, while I'm talking, I might as well share it. I was able to go on a trip with my daughter for my 50th birthday this past week to San Juan Islands, which was really healing. Like she wanted nothing to do with me, like nothing. Like she didn't want people to tell her about me. She was like written me off, and I am so grateful and blessed to be able to have her change her mind and be able to be in my life. And we had the conversation of, well, the things that you did put you in those positions. So that's her, she just, and that's fine. And she was able to voice that to me, and it's true. But just because the decisions we make put us in decisions and situations that aren't good for us doesn't mean that that is a trauma maybe for somebody. And to be able to have conversations like that with my daughter and know that 5 years ago she wanted nothing to do with me was awesome. To
Yeah.
be able to sit down and her be able to see my light and me be able to see her light and enjoy each other's light, and regardless if we don't agree on things, that's fine. That's why we as a community can do stuff and not agree, but we can still help the people in our community that need help. And it's not just the unsheltered that need help. We have people everywhere in our community that need support, and we all need more positivity in our life. The positiveness in this world is it's not around very much. I like to go around and ask people, when I ask them how they are, I'll say, tell me something positive about your day, and they'll sometimes sit there and say, I don't know. I can't think of anything. Well, I'm sitting there and I've already picked out four things just sitting there while they're waiting. You were able to wake up today. Sometimes that's not good for people, but yet they made it to work. They're able to have a check because some people can't work. Some people don't have the opportunity to have that check. And so to be able to, like, within a minute or two, change the way their negative thoughts to the positive in like a couple of minutes, that's awesome. That's showing them their light in like a couple of minutes. So I don't
Well,
know.
it's the small things that we miss,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean,
Yeah,
seriously, it is. We could have somebody cut us off in traffic and flip us off, and we can let something like that mess up our whole day.
definitely.
And when I was going through my crisis and recovery coaching, that is
Mm-hmm.
something that every time we got on a class, our coaches asked each individual before we even started our training. It's like, give me something positive that happened to you. Sometimes it's say this week in the past few days,
Yeah,
or what is something awesome that's happened to you today? That
yeah,
change it up a little bit.
it
And
does.
all of us would do that same thing where we kind of look to the left and look up, and we're searching for that. And it's crazy when we really stop and think about it, especially when we're starting to be trained more of how to think differently.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, something amazing happened to me. It's like today, this morning, going to the gym.
Yeah,
First of all, like you said, I thank God for waking me up.
yeah,
I get to see another day. Hopefully, I get to see the whole day.
yeah.
I don't know yet because we're
You
not
don't know
through with
that.
it. However, looking at the East Mountains, our Wasatch Front, and the way the sun was coming up, it just let off a freaking ray and like
Oh,
this
wow.
beam. I mean, it was almost like the angels and God had their arms out and it was just shining this light. And I was hoping to get to a place where I could take a picture of it, but by that time I could, it had already disappeared. So So
was
that right
beautiful.
there is something that was amazing that for me
Yes.
happened in my life. I could also say, I've gotten to know the people at the gym that work the front desk quite a bit, and as soon as you walk in, man, they just got that big smile and they're like, "Good morning, Al.
So
Enjoy your
awesome.
workout," and it's like, that is freaking amazing, right? It just made my flipping day that somebody smiled at me and
Yeah.
asked me to, said, "Hey, have an amazing workout," and sometimes I go in there and I'm like, "Good morning, you amazing freaking people. How are you guys today?" And that boosts them up. So it's
Yes.
these little things we have to look at instead of searching for the big things.
It is. I just want to say I'm proud of you for not taking the picture because I'm practicing not taking the pictures while I'm driving.
Yeah.
I'll hand my camera off and have somebody that's in the car with me. But I have a lot of pictures where I do take them because now that I'm sober and now that I found that light in my life, I notice that every day. The clouds, if they're gray, if they're black, if they're white, if they're non-existent, I just love it. And I take pictures like my phone has it all over in my phone because that's something that we don't notice when we're busy out trying to chase our next high or trying to, get over on the next person. And I never noticed it, and so it's awesome to be able to notice that and to see that kind of light in people that are around me and to be able to love people and have them be surprised that, did you just talk to me? And it's like, yeah, like, why wouldn't I talk to you? And that's Chad, number one, that people think that. Like, why is someone sad, excited that someone's talking to them? And I don't know. I just, my life right now compared to where I was 5 years ago is so much brighter and so much full of love everywhere around me. And I've learned that I don't have to have somebody around me every single day to show me that love. People like you that I'm not around every day, I know you love and care for me, and Tiffany and all my friends are around me in the community that I'm okay with that. Where before, if I didn't have someone there every day talking to me every day, making sure that they were with me, I feel like something's wrong with me. But that's not the case. It's just that we all have our own journey and we're all working on our own stuff. So and it's like I've been accepted more, and this is just keeps coming up. I wasn't quite sure. It kind of presented presented itself. Sorry, it's got a wasp right in front of me. They I didn't know if I wanted to make this part of it a real lot, but being able to communicate with spirits as I do, I think that's where we have met a lot. I mean, I was um that's really helped me a lot. Be able to really listen more to my intuitions and to my spirit guides and to be led to those that need healing and to be able to heal people that way um, is a really big part of finding my light. And I'm not ever going to do readings where I collect money because that's not what it's about for me. It's awesome to be able to just give somebody that last message that they weren't able to get from their loved one before they passed on. Obviously, a lot of people in the community know about my gift because that's just what I do for my loved ones. And my family, my brothers and sisters don't know, but if they watch this, they'll know now. My daughter does know. And so I'm just going to go public with it right now. I hope that's okay with you that I'm just kind
Yeah.
of switching over. It's kind of what happens with them. And this is my opportunity to embrace that part of my life and to be proud of it and to maybe help somebody that's out there that has lived with it their whole life, not knowing what to do with it and not know that it's not an evil thing. It's just a gift that you have. And to be able to help people heal is just, that's the biggest payment I can get. To see that relief in their face. And our friend, I talked to Brooke and I asked her if I would be able to share her story, how we met, and she told me it was okay. And when you told me that you had a friend that maybe could use my assistants, I was really scared about it because usually it's just I'm just hanging out with people, and if the spirits want a message to come out, it comes out, as we found out with you.
Mhm.
But so when I saw Brooke's picture, I was like, oh my gosh, because I seen her on Facebook before. You even told me about her, and I had already connected with the male figure with her. And when you showed me her picture, I'm like, oh, that's her. It's funny how the spirits lead you to where you need to go if you listen to your intuitions, because we all have that gift. It's not that I'm anyone more special than anybody else. It's just that I've been a little closer to that and I'm more open to it. And when I was able to help her and have you bring her over, I was so scared because I still to this day say, I think maybe it's not real. Maybe I don't do that. Maybe it's just something that it's just a coincidence. But it's not, because the stuff I know and the things I say, like there's no way I would have known the stuff that we talked about. There's no way I would have known that stuff. And I wouldn't have known the stuff that I talked to with Brooke when you brought her over. And that was my first time to be able to channel. And I mean, her loved one was like ready. Like right when I told you I knew who she was, like that's when I sent all those texts to you. And then when she came over and was able to do that, like to see that look and that you were there. So you know the look I'm talking
Yes,
about,
I
that
do.
look and that kind of relief of just knowing, because we all know in our head that our loved ones are still there. But when you have somebody that can help you connect to that and you feel it right there in that moment, it's it's just awesome to be able to feel them. Because when we get out and leave, it's just like we get busy in our world again and we can forget and we don't feel that again. And so that's the biggest, most awesome part of my light that I am so happy that I'm embracing and able to share with everyone around me. And I'm not ashamed of it anymore. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, how can you be ashamed of being able to help people, you know? And
Right.
it's not up to me to help people make them believe, because I don't have that option to say, well, I don't, but it's just awesome to be able to help them find that part of their journey and to heal from that part of their journey that they're hurting so bad from, to help them just for a moment get rid of that pain that they have. And that's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it other than it's really cool.
Well,
So,
it first of all, it is really cool to be able to have that gift, right? To be able to have other people um reach out to you and you be able to have their loved ones reach to you to pass messages through.
yeah,
And something that I wanted to say that was also in your bio, just
thank you.
about we talked about seeking the light, through your own darkness.
Yeah.
However, it seems like, and I'm pretty sure with what I know about you and what we spoke about today on the show already, because I know what happens in my life. It's like once we see that light
Hmm.
and once we realize we see it, that's when we start knowing our purpose.
Exactly.
Because I read the book, I think the book's title is What's Your Why? I had
Hmm.
somebody buy it for me and I read it and I thought I knew what my why was until I read that book. And then I realized I don't have a why.
Yeah.
And have I ever had a why my whole life? Well, yeah, probably. When I worked 24 years in manufacturing, my why was to not be a mechanic the whole time, but to work my way up into management and things like that, which I did. It's more of a goal, really,
Yeah.
than a why, because there has to be, I think, a purpose, a good purpose. And
Hmm.
maybe my purpose was, oh, I'll get in management and I'll make more money, which I did,
Yeah.
but again, but that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
And the the way my life has been in since 2009, me losing a 24-year career due to my cocaine and alcohol use on the weekends, and then battling with my wife's addiction for many, many, many years.
Yeah.
That was a roller coaster itself, to where God led me through all that. And He's my higher power. I look at Him as my higher power. He led me on that journey and on that path to where it put me where I am today. And I remember Janan saying once, well, a couple times, once leaving the studio when I had my studio, she
Yeah.
said, "You found your why." and she watched one of the shows for the very, very first time. And then
Wow.
coming back from St. George from our very first Healing Utah Success Summit, we're
Yeah.
heading home, and she goes, "Babe, I just want to let you know you have found your why. You have found your purpose." And see, I get teary eyed thinking about it because I didn't see it that way until somebody else told me.
Mm-hmm.
And she was 100% correct. She was definitely 100% correct. And now this is where I've worked my life here for the past 4 years, and I'm doing my best to keep an open mind and not look at it through blinders, because I did that with the majority of my life. This is how life is. This is how I see it. This is the way it's always going to be. You
Yeah.
just go, you know.
Yep.
And now I've taken those blinders off, and I'm looking at everything around me, and
Yeah.
I'm listening to people, and I'm hearing their stories, and I'm hearing what's happening to them, and I've gained more empathy for other individuals when I could have gave a shit less
Yeah.
before, right? Because it was all about me.
Yeah.
And also accepting other humans on how they look at things. I don't want to argue with people. It's like I've
Mhm.
heard of so many friendships and families breaking apart because of political bull crap.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to be kidding me. This person says it's this person says it's this, and just because you can't come to an agreement, you're no
Yeah.
longer friends or you're no longer family. I
But
mean,
just accepting that that's what they believe and that's what they want, and that's
yeah,
instead of accepting that, we're like breaking up families over it.
we're breaking it up. And again, I feel like that's the opposition doing its best to separate us. You know,
Definitely.
now a lot of people say it's our government that's doing it, and I'm not going to go any further in that because I don't
No,
want the show pulled. I want
no,
the
I don't
show to
like talking
show.
politics.
However, but also I feel like the opposition is working on us all individually as
Yeah,
well to separate us as much as possible because of our ego, of
yeah,
our beliefs, right? That's why I do
exactly.
my best not to use that word, because if you look, people have heard me say this in my show lots of times. If you look at the word belief, the word lie is in it.
And it is. And it's definitely that. And because of our own beliefs, people are arguing and, like we said, fighting and breaking stuff up. It's like that's why no one has the positiveness about. They see the negative. Well, they don't believe in what I believe, or they're wrong, and they even just say they're wrong because technically maybe they're not wrong. Maybe you're wrong, but we don't like to say we're wrong because of what our ego. And if we all can just put our egos away, which that will never happen, that's not ever going to happen. Just like drugs are never going to go away, but we can keep working on loving people regardless if they're using or not, and just loving people regardless of what they believe. We don't have to agree with it. We don't have to follow with what they're going, but we can love them for who they are and where they're standing right now. Because we're all where we're supposed to be right now. I'm supposed to be here with you right now. Like, I'm nervous. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I probably haven't said half the stuff I wanted to share, but hopefully somebody hears something in my story of what I've shared and it will resonate with them. And some people not. But I'm supposed to be here. I was supposed to be with you and meet you when I did, and call and talk to you and become friends. And it's just how, if we allow it and if we follow that and just love people around us. And
Yeah.
it's really that simple. Making that choice, making the first right choice is always the hardest. But loving people, it's easy. It's like I said, I'm self-centered, but yeah, I love people and I will put them first. And that's so easy to do. And if we all would do that, it would be, our world would be so much happier. And that's where I come from, and that's what I do every day is I try to just show love to no matter who's around me, no matter what they look like, no matter if they're standing on the corner, no matter if I hand them money. It's not my business what they do with it. It's just, if I'm going to love that person, then I don't have to give them the money to love them, but I can sure sit down and talk to them and like ask them their story and ask them what's going on, and show them love. Some people in this world have never been shown love, and you don't know who that person is next to you. So why not be the first one to show that person love,
Yeah.
and to show them, maybe give them that light that they don't have in their life, to where they can start, getting more light, and then they can spread it. And
Share that
so,
smile, right? Just that smile is a light.
yeah, It's amazing. That's what, like, that's when back in the day I smiled at a lady, and it's like she actually stopped me and thanked me, and I'm like, wow, that was cool. What a best feeling, and I wanted more of that. So I'm like, what else can I do to do that? That's easy, that's free. And so, and now here I am today, and I just have to give thanks to so many people right now in my life that helped me get to where I'm sitting right now. I've done the work. I have worked through my traumas, still working through my traumas, but I'm lining up with the people that are able to help me, with women that have been trafficked, women that have been in situations that they put themselves in but gotten out of. It's like everybody. There's you, there's Wasatch Recovery. I hope you don't mind me saying that, Wasatch Recovery. Bo with Cobalt Counseling was really through it all with me the last 15 years. He's seen me in my middle of my addiction, and it was really bad. And I just want to thank him right now too, because I don't get to do that very much publicly. And Wasatch Recovery was really awesome. In drug court, whether I made it through drug court, I did make it through, but you know what? I learned a lot that I may be using now. I didn't use it back then, but I'm using it now. So that's also one I want to put out there. Anyone listening from drug court, if you're kicking yourself because you went back out and you're doing some research, you can always stop and just teach people the research that you've learned. Everything that you've gone through in your life, you've learned something from. Because if you haven't learned from it, then it was pointless. You shouldn't have went through it. It's like, that's bad. But if you can sit and really think about everything that you've learned through everything you go through in your life, like I'm learning right now with you on the podcast of what to do and what not to do, what I'll do differently next time. It's like you learn everything that you do, everyone you talk to, you can learn from. And just changing the way you say things, like I've learned from out doing research, I learned from Lori, from UAPS. I don't call it relapse anymore. It's research because it sounds better.
It
You know what
does.
I mean?
Yeah,
And
it
if you
takes
do
that
learn from
stigma
it,
out of it.
yes, the stigma. And that's one definitely when it makes me cringe when I hear people say, I'm so and so, I'm an addict. Because I'm like, ugh, that's not who you are. That's what you've done. I just want to, but then they want to say that, that's fine. But I try and teach them to not say that because you're not being an addict, number one, it's not the best, obviously, but that's something that you're doing. That's not who you are. Let's find out who we are inside and let people know that part of us. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
I'm Michelle and I love people. And I am a very good citizen of this community now. And I'm so proud of that today. I'm not taken from the community. I'm able to give back to the community. I'm able to partner with people that want to do the same like my things that I do. And just to be able to see the love that I show people that I can show people now instead of hurting people is awesome. To be able to it's just something that's natural to me. But I caught myself at the Cyndi Lauper concert. I don't know if any of you saw it, heard it on Facebook, but the way my mind works, I was speaking out loud, recording live, and I actually said something negative. But you can hear me catch myself, say like change. Oh no, that's not positive, and I change it, and that's what my mind goes through every day. Like
yeah.
I just want to let people know 100%. You do not have to be perfect. You're not going to be perfect. So go after what you want to do. You do not have to be perfect before you start doing and finding out what your purpose is.
Well, and that's a very good point because we've lived our life a certain way for so long, right? And it takes a certain amount of time for us to retrain our brain, right? Just how we talked about it, the intro of the show, Emergo Academy, how it's a brain thing. It's all about the brain thing. I mean, their book, Actualized Recovery, that's what they talk about. It's not a 12-step program, it's a brain thing, right? It's about retraining that brain on certain thoughts. And I've had people say, "Oh, it's too late in my life," or "I'm too old." No, it's not ever too late, and you're not ever too old, because I feel that we will be tested till the day God calls us home.
Mhm.
And you said something earlier too about the lessons. There is a lesson behind everything. And my buddy Cap and I, when we worked together, we used to say, what's the message in the mirror? Go home and look at yourself in the mirror and try to figure out what the message is behind it. Sometimes it comes quick. Sometimes it has. I still got ones that it still hasn't even come forward yet, but it's not its time, because
Yep,
there'll be a time when all of a sudden I'm going to have that aha moment,
exactly.
because I know there's a message behind it. I just haven't quite got it yet.
Yes.
And I think what hurts a lot of us is we want that self gratification so quickly,
Oh yeah.
and we
What
have to
addicts?
we have to give ourselves that break, because
Mhm.
when we fell in the pit, we just didn't jump in and go full force. It took a slow, gradual slide, or one shovel at a time,
Oh yeah.
to get us into that pit and that darkness. Now it's going to take one shovel at a time, filling that pit full of dirt, or clawing our way out to get us to there. And then
Yep.
once we're there, where do we go from there? Somebody shared with me about a week and a half ago. They were very, very proud of what they accomplished.
Yep.
I'm congratulating them. I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so proud of you. That is so freaking cool, man. How does it feel? And they're like, oh my gosh, it feels so freaking good. And I'm like, man, that is so awesome. And it's so amazing when we get to that point, and we're just beaming. And then
Yep.
I asked that person, I said, well, have you seen what's behind you? And they're like, what do you mean
What?
behind me? I'm like, well, you've reached the top of this mountain, but guess what? You just hit a bottom of another one.
Yep.
And they're like, well, why the hell
True.
did you have to put it to me that way? And it's like, because it's true, right? Because I have
Yep.
climbed a mountain and I reached the peak and I've turned around and I'm like, well, shit, here I am at the bottom of another one. But again,
Yep.
that's our life, right? We're constantly doing this if we choose to do that. If we choose to go, that mountain's too steep, it's too hard. I don't want to put in the work. I
I'm gonna
don't
stay
know. It's
put.
the fear, right? Too. It's the fear of, Janan used to tell
Oh
me
yeah.
that all the time. She was so scared of getting sober because she didn't know if she could live her life without having alcohol.
Yeah.
She
She
didn't know
didn't
if
know
she could
how
go to a
probably.
concert, right? She didn't know how to go to a concert without drinking.
Oh,
Hell, I haven't even been to a concert since I've stopped drinking, and I don't know what it's going to be like when I ever go to one, because I always
it's
drank at a
expensive
concert.
right now, by the way. I went the
I
other
can
night. I went to
imagine.
16.50. $16.50. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm
Well,
glad I
it's
don't drink.
doubled then, because the last time I went to a concert, it was $8.
Oh
So
my gosh.
$8 for a
That's bad.
beer.
It's
Yeah.
expensive. That's expensive is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
It's crazy. Well, gosh, that alone should get people to stop drinking right there.
I know it's
Oh,
coming up
but
to my turn.
yeah. So again, we go back to going through the darkness,
Yeah.
seeking the light. We have to seek that light,
Yeah.
staying on our own side of the street, right? Everybody's journey is different. Everyone's story is a little bit different. Some have
Yep.
gone through worse things than we have gone through. Gosh, I just had a really good example. I went and visited with a lady volunteer who just lost both her legs.
Mhm.
And here I have certain days where I'm bitching and moaning about my socket and how uncomfortable it is. And then I go visit her and I'm like, I have no reason to bitch, no
Yeah.
reason at all. So it helps reel me back into reality
Yeah.
again, right? And starts giving me another way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Sharing our love. Love
Yeah.
has the highest frequency, if I'm not mistaken, that's out
Oh
there.
yeah. Oh
Instead
yeah.
of instead of going, you're wrong,
Come on.
I'm right, this
Yeah.
is how it is, you don't know what you're talking about, and
Yeah.
just, you know what? Let
But
bygones
thinking
be
that your
bygones.
life is worse than everybody else's, it's like, well, even though somebody's stuff that you're looking at may not seem as bad, but it's probably just as bad as something you feel you're going through right now is the same for them.
Yeah,
It's like not up for us to say whose is bad and whose isn't. Everything that everyone's going through is exactly what they have been able to go through. And that's who they're the ones able to go through that situation. Because maybe you weren't going to be able to go through that because you're going through your own stuff. And it's hard to explain because I believe in a lot of the pre-existent stuff and our choices and what we've chose to go through in this life. And we just need to support each other to find our light because without knowing and searching for that light, if you stop searching for your light, you're going to stay right where you're at, and that's in that darkness, and you'll never find love and that care. And once I was able to do that, here I go.
Yeah.
Here I am. And I'm just going to boast on myself a minute because here I am. I never knew I'd be where I am right now. And I know there's people that knew me in the past that be like, is that Michelle? Are you serious? It's just awesome to see what I'm a part of right now.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I love it.
and you've worked your ass off to get there, my dear, right? And again, it wasn't an easy trip, but as you hear so many people in recovery say, it was freaking worth it.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
and then you
totally,
go back and look and you go, really, it wasn't all that tough. It was
no,
me making it tough,
I know. And
right?
it's like Todd would teach Todd to the best or Todd, it's a choice. And you know what? It's like when I finally made that choice to like really practice my positive affirmations and journal and volunteer, holy crap, how easy is it? But yeah, here I am. My whole life I've been fighting it. I've been fighting this positive, trying to find out who I am, and just it's just easy. It's just that easy. It's that one choice. And of course, the first choice is, it's hard, the very first one. But once you make over that first hard choice and make the second and the third and the fourth, you have no choice but to be going the right path. And it's, like I said, it hasn't been easy. It's still not easy for me, but you know what? It's a lot lighter and
Yeah,
I can still continue on and it's not so unbearable when I go through stuff. I'm able to handle it a lot better than I did before.
I love it. Well, I'm proud of you, my dear. Again, I've
Thank
only known
you.
you for a short period of time, but what we know of one another, again, I'm proud of you. And with me saying that, you started a nonprofit organization
Yes.
called
Yes.
Michelle Cares.
Yes.
Let our listeners what Michelle Cares is all about, and what gave you the idea of wanting to do that.
Michelle Cares is about spreading positivity and helping the community bring that positiveness around and inspiring people and just is what inspired me to do it was volunteering. I started volunteering. I did little volunteer things and I couldn't do it by myself. Physically, I'm not able to do a lot as I used to be able to do. And I didn't want to stop volunteering. So I thought, I'm going to get more people. So I put it out on Facebook and I had a response and we came and we helped an organization and it was awesome. And the feeling of just being around all these other recovering addicts and wanting to find their light, I was able to find more. And the word got out that our volunteers are awesome and I'm able to share that with everybody in the community. So now we're known for our volunteerism, and to be able to take that and hopefully into more treatment centers than I'm already in, to have the clients out into the community before they get into treatment. I mean, before they get out of treatment, it would be awesome because when I got out and people tell me to get involved in the recovery community, I was like, ew, I don't know them. I don't know what I'm going to do. So where did I go? Right back to where I was comfortable, right? So it's like I want to get into hopefully all the treatment centers and have them come volunteer with me so that when they're out, they're already in the community. They don't have to worry about it. And that's working. I have 4 or 5 of the girls now that are out and they're still with me every day. They talk to me and they're just involved in the community. And it's just awesome to see their growth. And we have our meetings that we're going to hopefully start again in January. Train your brain. It's just centered around positive affirmations, journaling, and volunteering to learn how to really journal. Because like my journaling, my brain is all over, as you can tell, interviewing and talking. It's all over the place. But journaling is not about January 1st to December 31st in each order. Because I'm telling you, my journals are all over the place. It's just about getting your words out onto the page and getting it out of your head. And just I have a journal on my phone, I have it on my car, I have it by my bed. And so I want to show people all the different ways they can do to journal and the real ways to find out meaningful volunteerism to make them want to continue doing it. So just spreading volunteerism in the community, that's and showing love and helping people find their light. That's what we're about.
I love it. And it looks like it's sprinkling there. Is it starting to
Yeah.
sprinkle there? I can see the little sprinkle. Well,
How
we're actually at our hour anyway. It goes by
Okay.
so flipping
It
fast.
does go by fast.
Yeah. Well, what a great organization, and it's a good thing that you were doing. Again, you're out there helping the community, helping other people, helping other women find their purpose as well. And I think that's what it's all about, right? Is all about
Yeah.
supporting one another and helping one another. And there are times when things, yeah, we may not agree with how certain people are doing it. However, again, if we're doing it with love and we want to have the love with it, that changes a lot of stuff. And just here in the past few weeks, man, I've actually in the past week I've learned so much. Gosh, even in the past couple months, so much about how things are being looked at, even in the recovery community. And it breaks my heart that it's that way because
Yeah.
a lot of us in the recovery community have already battled the outside world that look at those in recovery in a different way.
Yes.
And it breaks my heart that we have that in our own area, right? Instead
Hmm.
of, I mean, we're big supporters of one another, but yet we're also
Are we
not
really?
that
Yeah.
and it
Makes
just
sense.
it just breaks my heart. And I hope things will change. And I know you're looking at wanting to make a difference. All
Yes.
of us, that is one thing I can say. All of us are out there to want to make a difference and help save lives, however that may look. You know,
Yep.
we just want to go out there and help because we've experienced our experiences,
Hmm.
and sometimes we may not agree. We look at things differently than what other people do, you know. But it's okay. It's all right. We're not here to all be on the same page.
No.
I think we're all here to be challenged. Can we still be a good person and still love and still support other individuals in certain ways that we may not agree with? Because
Yeah.
if they're doing the same thing, which is helping other individuals feel
Hmm.
comfortable, feel wanted, not feel ashamed,
Yes.
I don't know. And again, I may be looking at it the wrong way also. I
Well,
I
that's the way
don't
you look
I
at
don't
it.
know. However, this is just how I kind of go with it. So, Michelle, thank you for your time.
You're
Seriously, thank
welcome.
you for your
Thanks.
time, and I'm finally glad we got you on the show.
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks.
and you didn't seem nervous. You did at the start, but you really started relaxing,
Good.
as the show went on, because all we're doing is having a conversation. You know,
Yeah.
it's not live,
Under my
thank
booth, I'm really happy. I'm not nervous at all. But when you
God.
get me just here, I'm like, whoa, what do I do? What do I do?
Yeah, yeah, I think it's all good. And we look forward, and I know you and some other friends of yours are coming to the Healing Utah Success Summit, and I want to throw it
Yes.
out there, guys. October 4th at the Miller Free Enterprise Building from 10:30 to
Yeah.
3:30. We're going to have our fifth Healing Utah Success Summit.
Oh, cool.
Again, it's about love. It is about recovery, whatever that recovery is. And I think I'm pretty sure at this one you're going to hear some people who are a part of the event, especially one
Yeah.
individual, get up and say, "Hey, this is how I see it," because it is about transparency. There's nothing to be hidden here, and hopefully people will open their eyes and they'll be accepted to that. Because I do know of some individuals who are very afraid to speak up with what they're doing right now because of having the fingers pointed at them and being judged,
Exactly.
because they already went through that judgment when they were in their addiction, and now they're not. However, it could still be looked at as an addiction, even though they're
Exactly.
doing it to help them get off certain
Yeah.
things, if that makes
That
sense.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And so I just want to say that, like, people need to stop doing the finger and opening their arms and letting those people, if they're comfortable, coming in to them and stop doing this because it stops people. You point your finger, it's going to stop them. But if you do this, it's going to make them more welcome to come to you. And that's my whole that's my whole thing is we just need to support people right where they're at, wherever they're at in their addiction, whether they're the family members of that, whether they're family members or the actual addicts. But
Yeah.
I'm here for anybody that wants support or needs support. I am more than willing to listen and talk. Of course, I had to protect myself in situations. So, but we always are willing and there to be a support to people no matter where they're at in their addiction. So, and we just want to help people find that light, because once you find that light, man, it ignites, and here you go. I mean, I'm still going. I still got, like, it's so much further than I thought. Like, I haven't got my 501c3 yet. Like, I should get the answer in the next week. So, like, just when that comes, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah.
Like, it's
And
so
you should
cool.
be.
I'm
Yeah,
excited, and now the support I've had, I just appreciate everyone's support, and I just hope we all can help everyone feel that love that we all should have for everybody, no matter what the heck they're doing. I don't care who they've done, what they've done in their world, they all deserve love.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
And a lot of us have worked our asses off to get to where we're at,
exactly.
that's for sure. Michelle, again, thank you so much. I greatly
Thank you.
appreciate you. And another big shout out to Emergo Academy, Dave and Susan Kenny. Thank you guys for your sponsorship. Guys, seriously, check out emergoacademy.com. Check out their website. Again, it's the Brain First approach. I highly recommend it because, again, I have taken the course, so I know what it's about. And it has definitely changed my life in the way that I look at things. And it has widened my vision even a lot more than what it was already. So, guys, remember this. We're going to leave you the way we do at the end of every show. Addiction is giving up everything for one thing, and recovery is giving up one thing for everything. We're out.